Conversations. How are you? How is everything going? Right, look, we don't have much time because I've got a wonderful guest here with me. Um, who's gonna be my co-pilot? Yes, he's our passenger on Danfo, our chief passenger on Danfo Conversations today. But let me go into it quickly. So, yesterday, the whole country was captivated, engulfed, I don't know, engaged in the launch of IBB's Ibrahim Babangida's autobiography, My Journey in Service, I think it's called. Now, I've got feelings about this. Of course I have. But before we go into my feelings, and I know you all have feelings about it as well, let me bring in a historian, a dear brother of mine. He knows history as best as the rest of them. He also knows our political history in Nigeria. He and I used to be sparring partners. I love talking to him because he gives it straight as it is. Cheta Wanze, how are you, my darling?
I'm alive. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How's it going?
Well, as you know, people will say, why you want to KG at lecture video?
Well, you've got to tell me what that means now. Stop showing off.
Yeah, it's small that we eat hot soup.
Quite rightly. Now, these days you've become so big that even your sister here, I can only book 30 minutes with you. Imagine that.
It's not like that, oh, please, Lagos. It's not like that. Don't listen to Auntie Ireti. She's my big sister.
God forbid this auntie thing.
She bullied me to appear on this, as in literally with a gun to my head.
So Babangida's book. What are your thoughts? Initial thoughts immediately. I know we've all been expecting it.
I haven't read it, and I'm not going to read it.
Okay.
That's the end of.
Why?
Because he's just. So let's put it this bluntly. Ibrahim Babangida was born in 1941, which means that he's 84 years old. No, he'll be 84 later in the year, officially. I think it's important to note, without any prejudice to him, that a lot of Nigerians who were born in that era,
correct,
did not have birth certificates.
Yeah.
There's always a doubt about their age.
Correct.
So give or take, he's 83 going on 84. A lot of his associates are gone. Natural attrition. So it's not. It's all of us one day will go. And one thing that I have come to realize, as I've seen people like my father, if a lot of his friends, as I've seen them growing older, they are beginning to think of legacy. What will the world say about me when I am gone? So this book is basically IBB's attempt to burnish his legacy. He wants to have a legacy. He wants people to say good things about him when he's gone. So that's what this book is about.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it is, from all the chatter that I've seen, and I've seen commentary about it from some people who have read it, who got advanced copies and have read it. I've seen people talking about snippets. From what I can see, it's an attempt to paint himself in a good light, which, if Nigeria was a country that had memory, should not be allowed to stand.
Indeed. Now, let's talk about the event yesterday, and then we'll go a little bit more into some of the things that came out from the book. The event yesterday, of course, as you know, you and I are news junkies, but you might not have had a chance to watch it in full. I watched it highlights in full. I watched it from the beginning.
I wasn't going to watch it in full.
What are your thoughts about that event yesterday?
Simple and short. That event yesterday was the show of Nigeria's collective amnesia, and also a show of the kind of political elites that we have. Basically the moral bankruptcy of our political elites. It's clear that our elites in this country only prioritize power and privilege. They are not interested in genuine legacy. They're not interested in justice. They're not interested in accountability. It's just power and the appearance of being close to power. That is all they care about. And this is across board.
So a friend of mine did a post on our group this morning, and let's just call him Mickey, because I didn't get approval to give his name. Now, he wrote, so Babangida admits...
Which of the groups? Is it the two that we're part of? Or
no, not that one. Another one. So he writes, so Babangida admits Abiola won June 12, and now 30 years later, after the destruction of the country and its path to glory, you dey admit say you spoil things. Even devil no gree take you. Talk less of angel of death, self. We don't waka leave you to rot as a living carcass. One by one, before una die, una must confess, all of una. Public confessional season by our past leaders done dey open. I want ... SMH. What do you make of that statement?
I disagree with the statements.
Tell me.
It's one of the problems that we have in Nigeria, where we tend to leave things to God, as it were. Like every one of us, like me, like you, IBB will die sooner or later. And within the limits of probability, in his case, sooner rather than later. He's 83, going on 84. So it's called natural attrition. We all go.
Yeah.
There's no evidence anywhere that when a human being dies, that the earth rejects his body. He will die one day. He will be buried, and it's that simple.
Okay,
we are constantly waiting for heaven to do revenge for us. Is there any evidence in our country's history that heaven has done any revenge for us?
Well, those who believe in such things will say to you there is. But anyway, let's go back to the topic. Right. I get you. I mean, I usually agree with you. I agree with you, as you know. But I just read that statement for you to comment on. But I think it's also, there's a part where one, in Nigeria, right, the leaders are more afraid of curses than they are afraid of the law. Right, so when people hold on now, right? So when the masses, which is I'm talking about the people, when the ordinary citizens default to cursing their leaders, it's often because the law has let them down. Now let's take for example.
Yeah, how many people? So it is because the law has let them down. Yeah, it is a cry for help.
People default to the evangelical, right? Whether we believe it or not.
The fact that our people default to just laying curses, it's a cry for help. It's a cry of helplessness and a cry of hopelessness.
Exactly. So we can't discount
essentially what has happened is that the law in Nigeria has failed, and the spirituality has failed. And the truth of the matter is, if we want to go right back, the spirituality failed because when the British were invading your area, Ijebu, and all of that, and they were coming, the Ijebu people were putting curses and laying curses and all of that for the Brits.
It didn't work. So, let's go back to Babangida.
That was what should have shown the lack of efficacy of this thing.
I know, but I have often said to people that when Nigerians lay curses, it's not really that they believe it's going to happen. It's just a way of expressing frustration and helplessness, like you said. So back to the matter.
We're frustrated people. Yeah, I agree.
Back to the matter, Babangida. Now, that apology, it took accountability. He finally admitted what some of us knew, and I think a large majority of the country knew, but at least on our history group we knew. He finally admitted that Abiola won, and then he goes ahead to blame Abacha. Talk to me about that, because I know you're going to be going soon.
I mean, that's a red herring. At the end of the day, the precepts that we all agree with is the buck stops at the leader's table. So whether it was Abacha or not, in short, I dare say that Abacha's only crime going through our history, and this is me speaking as someone who that I regret it till this day. In 2015 voted for Buhari, ignoring Buhari's history.
Yes, we regret it.
Ignoring his history, we voted for him.
Yeah.
See, the 32 years since June 1993, only show without any doubt that Abacha's only offense was that he died early. If Abacha was
Expatiate
still,
on that a little bit, because I'm really conscious of you leaving.
if Abacha was still alive, we would have been organizing pilgrimages to. He would have been living in Kano, probably close to the Emir's palace, and would have been organizing pilgrimages to say Rankadide and to seek his wisdom. That's the way we would have couched it. Because I have seen more than enough people. And let's not forget that it took that the direct impact of the June 12 annulment was immediate. Country scatter immediately. I was trying to think of the English way to say it. Like, country scatter immediately. There were riots all over the place. People died. For those of us that are Igbo, we started doing something called also Abiola. All of us were running away from, because Igbo people have a collective memory that is not very that is not very nice of 1966. The moment something happens, you see a lot of Igbo people running east. When he annulled June 12, a lot of people ran east. Many people had accidents during that journey and died. They never came back to Lagos.
Yeah.
This is not talking about the interim government that left the country rudderless, and then the inflation that followed when Abacha shot Shonekon out of the way, and then for the next inflation. So right now we're all complaining inflation is 34%. Well, officially it's now 24% based on the new data from the MBS. But under Abacha, for the first 3 years, inflation was 57%, 72%, 81%. All those things were direct impacts of Babangida's annulment of June 12. So it's very, very rich for him 32 years later to come out not to take responsibility. I mean, come on, how bad?
Somebody suggested in another write-up that Babangida should be paying reparations and perhaps damages for the families affected and even to Nigeria, instead of that 17 billion or 16 point whatever billion that was, that he should actually use that money and give it back to Nigeria.
That much I agree with. I completely agree with that. Yes.
Do we need another library, presidential library, in a country where our literacy rate is some 60 odd percent? In the north, hold on, in a region, hold on, Chet,
in the town of the person.
Cheta,
how many people can get to me now?
Exactly, and there was good. Even in the north, in a region where we have 30 to 38% literacy, do we need another presidential library, and especially in Minna?
We only have one presidential library in Nigeria right now.
In Ogun State.
And that is Olusegun Obasanjo, who happens, of all of Nigeria's leaders, he happens to be the one who has always had an eye on legacy. And he did it the right way. So when Segun Obasanjo left power in 1979, he settled down and wrote books. He wrote My Command, which was an account of his stewardship of Three Marine Commando during the war. He wrote Nzogu, which was an account of his, because he was very close to the leader of the first coup.
Yeah.
He wrote books. Right or wrong, he wrote those books when people were still alive to start a debate as to whether, so for example, because of what he wrote in Nzogu, people like Adewale Ademoyega and Benjamin Bule, who were direct participants in that first coup, were compelled to write their own in order to set the record straight. Babangida has written this book, or has published this book, because I can pretty much guarantee, although that's not necessarily a bad thing, I can pretty much guarantee that it is a ghostwriter that wrote it for him.
Oh yes, it is a ghostwriter.
Yeah, ghostwriters are perfectly legitimate, so it's fine. But he has written it at a time when all of the people within the who were in the Armed Forces Ruling Council at the time have all gone. Yeah. The only ones who are still alive are Halilu Akilu and Raji Rasaki, who were junior members. They were not in the inner caucus of the Armed Forces Ruling Council. So there's nobody left who can challenge his narrative.
Indeed.
For want of a better word, that's cowardice.
Indeed. back to this library. So, of course, we have Olusegun Obasanjo Library, Presidential Library in Ogun State. Yesterday, GEJ stood up, and I remember this. He stood up and he said, look, he's been to America. When he was in America, every single president has the Presidential Library. I say, hold on. Well, you will face the wall, even though we're live on air. You will face the wall. Have I got messages? I'm sure people are sending messages. Very quickly, you can send message. I don't think I could be able to take calls. 0809-597-5805. I've got Cheta Nwande with me. Yes, he says it straight. Cheta, you know, when GJ said that yesterday and I heard it, I thought to myself, hang on a minute, it's all very well that, yes, like you rightly said also, presidential libraries are built in the vicinity, in the state of the president. However, this is Nigeria. We do not have an educated masses who have a historic curiosity to go around looking for a presidential library. So why do we need more than one? Yes, others have done it, but surely it's a case of, you know, it's a case of we can just it's a case of we can do with one, a big one in Abuja, because we're not dealing with leaders who are driven by ideology, are we? Or am I wrong? And GJ is right. Which one? How long have I got?
He's right.
1 minute. No, 1 minute. Yeah, 1 minute.
Basically, we don't have a guiding ideology. I mean, it's one of the things that I'm doing quite a bit of research on now, and I've started talking about it on my YouTube channel. We don't have a guiding ideology. We don't have a historical memory. In many words, in many respects. So, for example, in my articles these days, I no longer refer to Nigeria as a nation because we are not a nation. We just happen to be, and I'll quote Obafemi Awolowo here, we just happen to be a geographical expression. And this is a very standard, this whole event is a very standard example of that.
Okay.
The fact that people have completely discarded something seminal that happened just 32 short years ago. It's an erasure. That yesterday, the who is who of Nigeria was present.
Right.
There.
Yeah.
That says a lot.
It says a lot. I'll be right back. Hold on to the rest of that thought. We're going to go on a quick break, right? Cheta is staying with us for an hour throughout the show. So you'll be able to speak to him, people. Hang on there. This is Danfo Conversations.
Hey, now wow.
More news and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
Two things you can't have it all with one play. I got that defined boy. I just want yourself. Hello, good morning.
Yes, Melitus. One play, don't talk to two players because you want 20K.
So now you want yourself 20,000 naira. My name is Well Done. Okay, well done. You want to tell you well done. You want yourself 20,000 naira. With 500 naira, you can play to win big from 120,000 naira to 190,000 naira daily on Nigeria Info. Go to oneplay.ng and play with 500 naira. And in a few seconds, your ticket is in the draw. Or dial *347 *880 *3 hash. Win daily on Nigeria Info. 50,000 naira on Morning Crossfire. 60,000 naira on WhatsApp Lagos. 20,000 naira on Sunnyside. And 60,000 naira on Game On. So Lagos, what are you waiting for? The more you play, the better your chances of winning. Remember to dial *347 *880 *3 hash. Play responsibly. Not suitable for persons under the age of 18.
Hey, this dollar wahala now wow. Everything just dey expensive. Na true, but make we look am well, my brother. See, your shoe na from Italy, your shirt na from Turkey, your phone na from China, your car na from Japan. In fact, everything wey dey your body so na import dey import am. Abeg, how that one take consign dollar? If price of dollar go come down, e get many things wey we suppose do. Like wetin? Number one, we suppose dey export pass how we dey import. Number two, we suppose dey buy more made in Nigeria products. Number three, make we support local business. And number four, if you want send dollar and other foreign currency enter Nigeria, make we dey use international money transfer agents. Hey, what you dey talk dey make sense o? Oh, Country people, make we join hand, reduce the pressure on our naira, grow our export market, and increase forex inflow. Now, our handy day. This message now from Bankers Committee.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Welcome back to Danfo Conversations, right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Welcome back to Danfo Conversations. My guest passenger today is Cheta Wanze. We are going jiggy jaga all the way to Abuja, to Mina, to Babangida's new book, right? That's what we're talking about. In fact, at occasions, we're also stopping at June 12. We're still going to be stopping at Delegiwa. I don't know what it says. I don't know what Cheta has got to say. Gloria Okon, Vasta. Those are the parts that I was interested in the book, but let me not jump. Cheta, so we're talking about that event yesterday. Let me say something.
You are saying that you are going to read it.
Well, no, I'm going to jump. I'll tell you in a minute. But let me go before I forget. Anthony Killer said something on Arise this morning, and I'd wanted him to join you, but unfortunately, I'd wanted both of you to join, to be on my show, but unfortunately, he couldn't make it. He said on Arise this morning that in any other part of the world, you would not be able to get all of those people together in the same room. And what he meant by that is if in a country where you have ideology politics, in a country where you have people with conviction, political leaders with conviction, getting all those people together to come and whitewash somebody like Abiola, not Abiola, IBB,
Babangida.
Yeah, Babangida, would be near on impossible. What do you make of it, that statement?
It's 200% correct.
Mm-hmm.
In places where you have a political elite that have integrity, at the very least, you have, even if it's just one, that will dissent publicly, and say, no, I will not be a part of this.
But Peter Obi did. I don't think Peter Obi was there yesterday.
Peter Obi was there.
Was he? Okay, I didn't see him in there.
He was there. Yes,
I missed
Peter Obi was.
Yeah,
Peter Obi was present at the occasion.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's an indictment of Nigeria's entire political elites. There was not one dissenter. They were all there.
Now, you guys can call, please. Down for conversation as you can call, but because we have a guest, you can't go on and on and on and on. You know, normally I'm not like Marianne. Me, I'm kind to you. Am I not? I'm kind to you. I let you people speak, but I've got a guest, and I really want us to get the most out of Cheta on this topic as possible. 0201 465 7190 0201 277 0993. So, Cheta, as I was saying to you, I want the book. First of all, I refuse to spend 40,000 naira, which is the cost for the soft copy, and 50,000 for the hard copy. I refuse to do that. I would not be contributing as a Nigerian, as somebody who remembers that history, as somebody who is older than 35 years old, as somebody who remembers all of it, even if I wasn't here. One thing I won't do is to give my money to a man, to such a leader or a ruler, actually, as IBB, in order to fulfill what I call his vanity project. I actually don't agree that we need another what's it called, library, presidential library. I think the Nigeria that we have, we only need one. Okay, Obasanjo has built his. Great. You can say you want to have regional ones, if you like, north, south, east, west. And if you must have a national one, have it in Abuja. But having it for different presidents, I actually think is yet another vanity that people are feeding into, and we're watching their egos. And quite frankly, the only ideology that these people have, in my opinion, something I am not afraid to say, is the ideology of self. Self. And I'm not going to be watching that. So yes, I will be reading the parts that because I still want to know, what does he say about Vasta? Because he's so quick to apologize yesterday. He didn't apologize to Vasta's family. So I want to know what he says there. I want to know what he says about Delegiwa. Okay, I don't really care what he said about June 12, because I think for me that apology means nothing. You've done the damage. Just go. Keep quiet.
And we arguably haven't recovered from that damage.
We haven't recovered. So why are you apologizing? What are you apologizing for? Why should I? I don't even care. I've grown up enough to know that I don't need to tell you I forgive you in order for me to be able to move on. Do you understand? Telling you that I've forgiven you is actually relieving you of the burden and the pain that you've caused to all of us. So I'm not going to do that. But yes, I'm going to read those 3 parts. Let me answer a call. You can all call. I'm answering your calls now. Let's talk. Please be very quick, okay? No long thing. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Very quickly.
This is from Mojo.
Okay, go ahead.
You see, this mess we are facing in this country. Babangida is one of the most architects.
Yes,
when he brought this structural adjustment program, a friend of mine who was going to US those days, he went with 2,600. And when he was going, he said that as Babangida is taking over, we will be in a mess. I was thinking that it's a joke. He said that he will run Nigeria into doldrum. Right now, this is what we are facing. And that's what has crept into now, and they are now using that mess to rob other people.
Okay.
So it's a pity that they have to give such an accolade to a person who has brought us to this mess.
Yeah.
In fact, it's a shame.
It is a shame. Thank you very much, sir.
To see reasons.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Right. Hello. Very quickly. Hello. What's your name? Where you calling from, please?
Yeah, good afternoon, Shogra.
Good afternoon, ma. Where you calling from?
Yeah, this is Mazu there. I want to ask a question.
Go ahead.
My question is that I want to ask her, how are we going to get, we are not a nation, how are we going to be a nation? Is it possible for we to be a nation? If it's possible, how are we going to get it?
Okay. All right. Thank you. Cheta, hold on to that answer. Let me just answer one more call. Then you'll be able to do them together. Hello? Okay, we don't have time today, I'm afraid. Hello?
Hello, Cecil. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Miguel, calling from Badagry.
Go ahead, very quickly.
I know OBJ wasn't present there yesterday.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He was the chairman of the occasion. What are you talking?
He was present. No, actually, I thought he wasn't there, really.
Oh, but he actually told Babangida, don't worry, people are going to pull you down. You're going to get the pull-down syndrome. Don't worry. Ignore it.
But I wonder why they were all clapping, and for what? What were they clapping? Anyway, that is who we are in Nigeria.
Indeed. Thank you. Yes. Hello, very quickly. Hello. Turn your radio off.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Oboli.
Sissy Oge, please. I'm trying not to be emotional here. Please, what do you want me to do with what IBB has said? What does he want us to do with it?
I wonder.
Sissy Oge, what this man just did was to remind me of what I have forgotten. I lost a sister in that June 12 struggle, for crying out loud. My immediate younger sister, Mary. So what he has said, will he bring back my sister? What he has said, will he bring back the blood of the people that were innocently shed for June 12, that period? What he has done was just a verbal masturbation. To do what exactly?
Thank you
I
very
wish
much.
I could just see him to vent the way I'm venting on radio right now. He didn't even apologize. His apology would have even meant nothing to me. He owned up to bad. He owned up to cowardice. He owned up to negativity. He owned up to rubbish. How can you be clapping for a sinner, turned saint, and you were donating money? The thought is nauseating. The thought is annoying me. The thought is frustrating. A Maradonic entity that came out to say rubbish, and people were giving him money when he was supposed to be put on a stake and burned.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Mrs. Oboli.
I have pain inside of my spirit right now.
I'm sorry.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mary has died how many years ago? And you're coming here to tell me rubbish.
Thank you.
God will not forgive him.
I
have not forgiven him, and I will not move on. I won't move on.
Thank you, Mrs. Oboli. Cheta, that brought me close to tears. And we can't say we're not going to get emotional.
Listening to that.
Yeah, we can't say we're not going to get emotional, because this is an emotional thing. It's emotional for all of us, for every single person in the country, every Nigerian outside in the diaspora. It is emotional, but I'm going to let you comment on that for about a minute because the lines are going crazy. And the other first question we got for you.
So, and I think that question, how are we going to become a nation, is actually very, very critical in this whole discussion, because it's basically why we are here. We haven't, as a country, we've not understood and I'm trying not to use technical terms here. We've not understood what a nation state is meant to be to its people. The fundamental function of a nation state is to provide security and prosperity to its citizens.
Yeah.
Nigeria has failed at both. And what has now happened as a result is that the country has become Hobbesian. But the truth is that it all starts from the very roots of how Nigeria came to be in the first place.
Yeah.
Your average European nation.
Yeah, I'm going to need you to wrap that up. The lines are going crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
The average European nation came together for a purpose. Nigeria's purpose, the purpose that Nigeria came to be, that Nigeria was brought together for, was to feed the vanity of, or the greed, the avarice of some people from the United Kingdom. And unfortunately, at our so-called independence in 1960, we did not change that architecture. So Nigeria has never existed for the benefit of Nigerians. And as a result, again, I'll be quoting Obafemi Awolowo here again, there are no Nigerians. We don't really have Nigerians. So we need to shift that paradigm. Until we shift that paradigm, we will keep running from pillar to post. And things like this will keep happening.
Thank you very much. Hello? Hello? Yes, good afternoon, sir. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good afternoon. This is the one of Odogbolu.
Okay.
This IBB
Very
statement
quickly,
now, or agreement now, that 1993, that was the day I started my business. And I refused to go. I said, let me die here because I didn't have any money to go home. And thank God I did not die. But what about those who died on the way that day? Because I calculated the people that we lose that day, they are up to 10. So how are we going to account for those people now? Are we going to hold him responsible? Or we just hear it and package it and leave it there? What is our stand on this? What is our stand on this? That's what I want to know.
Well, it's okay. I'll let Cheta tell you.
Yes,
I think everybody individually. All right. Thank you.
Yes.
I'll give it to him. Hold on, Cheta. Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are you,
This is Joy from Eva.
Go ahead, Joy.
After 32 years, she said, do you know that if not God be on my side, that I would have been a dead person? Because I was at my 2 when that thing happened that day. It was a Yoruba man that saved me. He took me to his house. I slept in that man's house with his family. Come and see how they were praying for me. Then after 32 years, somebody came out to tell me another rubbish. God will never forgive him.
Amen.
Because so many souls died. Who? And there is no, because when they see themselves near the grave, that is when they will start telling God to forgive them. God will not forgive him for what he did.
Thank you. Hello? Oh, God. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, my dear. How are you?
I'm very well, sir. Where are you calling from, sir? What's your name?
My name is Omoviru Robert.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead. You have 1 minute, sir.
Please, I just want to say one simple thing. Is it not the same thing that civilians were fighting for? To be free and free to do what is required. That they didn't allow it to come. They killed it. They killed Abiola and others. Where is the begging going to start from? The apology. Is it the Igbos that die on their way running home? Or those of us who have challenges in the midst of getting home from work? Where is it going to start from? Today he like it now that he has confessed and nobody touched him. If it were military time, will he have been successful by this time? By now he should be under lock and keys, or even go to the Bible to be fired.
Yeah.
When we beg them for freedom, democracy, they refuse it. Why is it coming now to speak after many years of suffering? It's coming out to tell you that he is sorry for. I just cannot imagine. I don't know how he's going to do it to compensate people. A lot of people who are suffering today is him.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Please.
Cheta, do you have anything to say? I need to give you a minute or two to speak right now before I answer more calls, because it's gotten very emotional, which is what we should have seen yesterday. Instead of all that camaraderie and boys together and boys in the room, and even the one that is the one on stage, the former VP said, the Tinubu who was a senator, the one that was a senator there, he's now sitting next to his torturer, whatever he called him. Like, the whole thing was actually egregious, I think. I don't know what you think.
It was. That's the fact. It was quite egregious. But I mean, it's also it's a commentary on where we are as a people, because many of the people there, it makes one doubt oneself in many respects, and perhaps that is the future of all of us, because you have to start asking yourself, when confronted with the trappings of privilege, wealth, and power, will you change your mouth? And
that's a good question.
I think that's a fundamental problem that we all face in Nigeria. A fundamental truth is, and this is because our country has never had a social contract. So Nigeria is one of a few countries in the world where you could be at the highest pedestal today, and then tomorrow you'll be in the deepest depths. So a lot of what we see, a lot of the behaviors that we saw yesterday is behaviors of people who have had access and privilege and will do anything to maintain that access and privilege.
Indeed. Let me ask you something. Well, I'm going to say something to you, which I said to another person. I said, so people often say that, sycophancy, the people are the same, the elites are worse, the people do the same thing. I believe the elites are worse, but I also believe very strongly that the people, that is us, Nigerians, ordinary Nigerians, the masses, the civilians, have been turned into hyenas, beggars, as a result of consecutive, persistent, intentional bad leadership. Would you agree with that?
It's a lot more complicated than that, because it starts from a very basic truth, which many times we are a bit afraid to confront.
Tell us.
Which is that Nigeria's elites did not fall down from the sky.
Yeah, true.
Babangida, for example, was not rich all his life.
No, he wasn't.
He came from somewhere. Exactly. There are very few people who were in that room that came from wealth.
That's very true.
One thing that we must understand, with the exception of a very few people, Haji Dangote being one of them, they're probably not up to 1,000 scions of or patriarchs of families in Nigeria today that are up to 5 or 6 generations wealthy.
Correct.
We all come from a very short history of deep poverty. And unfortunately, too many people in Nigeria, when you mention poverty, think of it just in terms of naira and kobo. No, poverty can also be poverty of fear, poverty of the mind. So people can be so frightened of going back into that deep poverty that they have a fairly recent historical memory of, that they will do anything, make any compromise to maintain whatever access that they have. So ultimately, all of it is a failure of rule of law. Because if there's rule of law, people will have protections for whatever they have managed to build up over the course of a career or the course of a stewardship or the course of a life in business. But in a country like Nigeria, you can easily lose you can be robbed of everything, and as your garden variety policeman who would stop you in the streets will say, nothing will happen. You can basically be thrown. There's no safety net at all. You can be thrown back into the depths and nothing will happen. Okay. So a lot of what we see, in all honesty, is as a result of that fear that is very often unacknowledged. Indeed. Many people don't even know that they have it.
Indeed. So very true. So very true.
So you have to, as much as we are very unhappy and very angry about events like yesterday, when the blood stops rushing to our heads, when the emotions stop, and we sit down to start psychoanalyzing this, all of Nigeria's problems, in my view, boil down to one single phrase: absence of rule of law.
Indeed. Right, let me read some messages to you before I come back to the lines. Good afternoon, Ireti. I can't forget the June 12 years. I was in school. I was in school in Ibadan. I think they said that then our remembrance was always a violent 4-year course turned 6 years. I think it will be hard to forgive IBB. That's Mobolaji from Ekwe. Oops, I need to try and get to the other messages very quickly. I'm using a handheld thing, which I'm not used to. Right, what have I got here? Oh God, don't send long essays, right? We don't have the time. Good afternoon, Cecilia and your guest. Posterity, they say, will always reveal and judge righteously. This is the case of Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida now. After the willful damage to the nation, we don't need his apologies now because it's worth nothing. After causing and derailing change to Nigeria's destiny for the worse, this is good riddance to bad rubbish. Insane claims. I beg your pardon? Oh yeah, insane crimes. IBB would have been arrested and tried for treason and murder rather than this absurd applause that he got yesterday. His name merits almost position on a Hall of Shame compendium. He's coming out 32 years to apologize points to what will also happen to the present INEC chairman and all his acolytes and cohorts as it stands today. Lesson: we should always strive to do right at all times because tomorrow will always count. Have a splendid day, guys. That's St. Michael from Isolo. Thank you, St. Michael. I've got more messages. Right. Okay, hold on. I'm not close to it. I'm using the tablet thingy. Sorry. So excuse the delays. What have I got here? Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Info FM. It's quite unfortunate that we have a correct calling. We have a country calling Nigeria that has never existed. If we truly you've got to write properly. I can't read that because I don't understand what you're saying. Good afternoon, Ireti Bakare-Yusuf, and to the guest. I did vote at that 1999 elections, which was the most credible, the most free, and the most fair election under his Nigerian government. Needs an account of what happened to Dele Giwa in 1987. Likewise, the need to hold our leaders accountable is key. That's Obonyilo Peter, aka Peter Bonds from Shangotedo. Guys, I need you to write properly because I'm struggling reading your messages. Let me come to the calls because please help me open up the other messages. I'm coming to the calls right now. Hello. Okay, you snooze, you lose. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. This is your
Good afternoon. Is that Rapachuku? No, Merchant Man. Merchant Man. Yes, go ahead. You have a minute.
Yeah, it is okay. I just came in and I turned on my radio. I heard how Mrs. Oboli was actually lamenting. It's okay. It's so terrible.
Well, she was in tears, let's be honest.
Yeah. Honestly, it's so hard to remember the past in such a negative way. It's okay. In my place, they used to say that when a man knows that his death is very close, that he will choose to tell all the truth in his mouth so that he will join his ancestors in peace. It's okay. Why would somebody want to join his ancestors and decide to fabricate another amount of lies? Since yesterday, I've been very, very angry. How could that man say that kind of thing? Why has he been silent all this while when all the actors that were involved in that nefarious activities with him were all alive? Why did he choose until they departed and he started telling us nonsense?
Good question.
What kind of people do we have in this country? Is it because we live in a climate that law does not take its course? Because people like him and even some that are in power now supposed to be behind the bars. But just because everybody has the right and license to do anything they want to do in a lawless way.
Thank you very much, Merchant Man.
Going, having their ways. Please, before I drop, I want to thank Nigeria Info, particularly Mr. Emmanuel Onwuka. I was in Nigeria Info this afternoon. I collected the gift Mrs. Oboli won for me on January.
Okay, great.
So I want to say thank you to Nigeria Info.
Thank you.
Thank you to Madam Oboli. Thank you to Emmanuel Onwuka. God bless you.
Thank you, Merchant Man. Thank you, Cheta. It's deep. Let me read this message. Good afternoon, Sisi Oge and Cheta. I am emotionally ashamed of my country called Nigeria. Nigeria is a comedy show. Good Babangida did add a chance that few persons should have attended. Shamefully, many, even those who were victims of his wicked acts, attended. And the worst is that rather than being sober, whenever he made a point, they excitedly gave loud rounds of applauses. What is wrong with us? And the world is watching and laughing at us. It's true that always, when I was watching it live, it was literally like every time the man opened his mouth, they applauded. Every time, I was like, Kini, what is it? Kilo de no, let us hear what is. And then after a while, he continued to ramble on, and they will clap, and they will clap, and they will clap. I mean, what are we? Well, we've got 12 seconds to go to. We've got 12 seconds to go to the break. I'll be right back. Stay there, Cheta. Don't go away.
More talk, news, and sports after this. For 3 great seasons, the fans have fought with passion and fire. Their best they brought. The banter was bold, the debates were tight. Each word a weapon, each match a fight. But now it's bigger, the stakes much higher. The battle returns, and it's full of fire. Grand Battle 4 with Femi and the gang on 99.3 Nigeria Info. The stage is bang. In partnership with Sports Salon, we raise the game with glory, honor, and a shot at fame. Think you've got what it takes to score? Then step right up. It's time for more. Register now and take your stand. Your time to shine is now at hand.
Registration is ongoing on www.nigeriainfo.fm.
And Battle 4. Let the battle begin.
Welcome back to your #1 talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
Welcome back to Danfo Conversations. I am with my dear brother, my guest, the one, the only, Cheta Nwanze. And he says it as it is, as you've probably noticed. I have a message here saying Cheta makes great points. Poverty is pervasive and present amongst us. Cheta, talk to me. Everything you've heard so far.
It's clear. I think the key thing that I'm getting from this conversation is that Nigeria's elite that Nigeria's people live on different planets.
Absolutely.
So it's that much is very clear. I haven't seen in strolling through social media and in listening to a few. I've been working for most of the morning, so I've only had a chance to listen to a few discussions on radio. But there's almost it's virtually universal condemnation from the common man. But from the elites, as evidenced by the fact that all of them turned up yesterday in Abuja for the event, there's solidarity. So it tells me that there's that both groups of people live in on different planets, and it brings me back to the question that I asked earlier, and it's a question that you and me, Ireti, have to ask ourselves. If tomorrow God butters my bread and sugars my tea, and I suddenly find myself as a member of Nigeria's elite, what will I do? And I'll be very honest. I don't know.
Okay. So you want me to answer that question?
It will be. I don't think you should answer that question because
I do
easy
know.
Answer.
No. I actually do know.
Point?
That's
the easy
me.
answer is to say that the easy answer. It's very easy to sit down and say, "Oh, that I will stand for truth and justice."
Cheta, let me say to you, I do know. Number one, I have. There is no doubt in my mind what I will do, which is why one of the reasons I will not go into politics, because the chances are they will kill me and I will not get to see my grandchild. That's number one. That's number one. Number two. No. Cheta, wait.
I think it's very
no.
important
I need to talk about you as well.
There are people
Please.
who were there yesterday that have never been in politics.
Yeah, but okay, we'll talk about them.
They've just gone. They just happen to have gotten to the top of their careers in Nigeria.
Now let's talk about you.
So it's not always about politics.
The Cheta that I have known, the Cheta that I have walked the beat with, the Cheta that I have learned for, that I adore, whose mind I know, Cheta, right? And I know what you've turned down. You have turned down some really lucrative positions that many will jump at because of your principles. No, hold on. We don't need.
The question is, do you know whether I regret it?
But it doesn't matter whether you regret it. The fact is, you turned it down. It's not about whether we don't regret it. We can always think about whether we did the right thing. We'll never know. But the fact is, you said no, just like I have said no. Anyway, we're going to the news right now. Yvonne is here. I told you, when Cheta and I get together, it's fire.
Without choice, there's no loyalty.
We remain loyal to bringing you the details and stories around the world.
The boys in that environment were just shooting and pursuing them. I escaped that place in a whisker.
ATPDP, they are comedians.
I'm not going to come to this platform to campaign for anybody. I will not put standards in problem.
Only on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Let's talk.
It's 2 o'clock.
The news update on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Right, Lagos, here's what's happening at this time. The Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, has asked Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke to suspend the local government elections set for Saturday. But Governor Adeleke is standing his ground, insisting the elections will go ahead as planned. And if you're in the FCT, brace yourself for some power outages. The Transmission Company of Nigeria says parts of Abuja will experience a 7-hour blackout this weekend due to maintenance work. And for the first time, former head of state Ibrahim Babangida has publicly admitted that the late philanthropist and democracy hero Moshood Abiola won the annulled June 12, 1993 presidential election. President Bola Tinubu has also weighed in, recognizing Babangida's contributions to Nigeria and saying future leaders can learn from his legacy. Meanwhile, Labour Party's presidential candidate Peter Obi says Babangida's admission is a big step toward national healing, but activist and AAC presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore isn't convinced. He is accusing IBB of trying to rewrite history in his new book. The federal government has issued a strong warning to the contractor handling the Ikorodu-Itoikin road. He has been warned to get back to work within 24 hours or face arrest. And about that, Lagos-Abuja high-speed bullet train you may have heard about. Well, the federal government says, don't believe the hype. There is no such project in the works. And a bit of drama at the Senate on Thursday. Senator Natasha Akpotu-Duahan clashed with the leadership over a seating arrangement issue. In sports, in education rather, Akinshule Onyidamola and Shoyinka Ayomikun are through to the round of 16 in Nigeria Info's I Beg to Differ debate tournament. On the economic front, the Central Bank's Monetary Policy Committee has decided to keep the monetary policy rate steady at 27.5%. And controversial singer Portable, known for his hit song Zazuze, has been arraigned before a magistrate court in Abeokuta. Internationally, Israel's military says one of the 4 bodies handed over in Gaza yesterday is not that of Shiri Bibas, as earlier claimed. And finally, the UEFA Champions League round of 16 draw is out. Some exciting matchups ahead. Those are the headlines. Thank you for your time. This is Danfo Conversations with Ireti Bakare-Yusuf on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Stay here.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Welcome back to Danfo Conversations. Right, I have used up and overused the allocated time that Cheta gave me. So, Checks, let me give you, your final message from you. Let me give you the stage, the mic, so to speak.
Thank you. There was something that Dilifa Rotimi said yesterday, and it was very apt. He said that for a people devoid of memory, to die is to be killed over and over and over again. And in many respects, this is true. It captures the tragedy of our collective amnesia, because I think that's the theme of Nigeria. We have collective amnesia. There are so many events. On Twitter, for example, I used to do something called history class back in the day to try to remind Nigerians of different things that have happened in our history. And for example, when I talked about the Asaba massacre, I was called a liar. When I talked about the Asaba massacre, in that same studio that you are sitting, the NBC shut me down. I don't know if you remember that. So it's important that we learn to remember our history, because that's what leads to a failure to honor heroes like Abiola, who, imperfect as he was, and no human being is perfect, he sacrificed his life for democracy. And then we end up celebrating villains like Babangida, whose legacy is stained by betrayal and repression. All of this, it reflects a deep moral decay. Yesterday's launch of Babangida's memoir, which was attended by Nigeria's political elites, underscores this hypocrisy. Nigeria's political elite is a class that prioritizes power over justice and privilege over accountability. And it also shows the moral fiber, or the fiber of the people who gets to the top in Nigeria. Babangida's attempts to blame people who have now been dead for years and cannot respond, and to rewrite history, show a man who is essentially a coward and is unwilling to take responsibility for his actions. But that cowardice is a currency. It's common, all too common in our elites. Rather than be held accountable, we've chosen to celebrate him as a statesman and sweep his crimes under the carpet. There were people who fled into exile on account of his annulments of June 12, and they were there yesterday clapping for him. In summary, Nigeria's elite and our people live on different planets. For the elite, there's a deep fear of poverty, and it drives their moral bankruptcy. So they cling to power and wealth at all costs. I think that to honor Abiola's legacy, Nigeria has to confront its past with honesty and demand accountability. That's my closing statement.
Thank you so very much, Cheta. It's been fun. I'm sure you and I will discuss it more this weekend. Please pass my apologies to the missus. I know I messed up your afternoon. Please forgive me. Sorry, Mrs. Cheta. Bye. Thank you so much, my bro. Take care.
All right, then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Lagos, Nigeria. This is Danfo Conversations. This is you, me, and the mic. This is us on our bus going jiggy jaga jiggy jaga jiggy. Cheta just got off. Yes, he got off at bus stop of good Nigerians. Right? Jump back on the bus with me. Let's talk. Babangida, his book, his sins. Nigeria, and can you forgive him? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, Ireti Bakare-Yusuf.
Good afternoon. What's your name? Where you come? I know.
No, but I like the word coward. Babangida is a coward general. I said it yesterday, and I'm still repeating it. I will say it forever. He's a coward. He's a bundle of sadness and an estate of despondency. He's somebody. Nobody should even be given any honor. It does not deserve that honor. Yeah. Somebody spoke about SAP the other time. What about the second-tier foreign exchange market? One of the reasons why the Nigerian was killed, the double exchange rate that he brought about, the corruption, Gloria Okon. I'm sure you remember Gloria Okon.
Of course. That's what I'm really looking forward to seeing in the book.
Nobody. He's just trying to rewrite history. Who introduced secret court into Nigerian university? Babangida. Babangida introduced secret court into gun running secret court. It destroyed many lives. He's now building a life. I said yesterday, you will never know joy. You will never know peace. He has killed peace. I know a family around that they were running away from August 27, whatever, that he said he was going to hand over. 4 children died on their way. Only one remained. I don't know whether that one is still alive now.
Thank you.
Families broke up. Everything happened under him. And he's talking. You know, but Obadiah was just deciding him to go ahead with whatever he's doing. They know he's going to get a big backlash. And has been doing this repeatedly. He did it 2011 when he wanted to contest against Jonathan. People pushed back. They told him all the bad stories of his life. He did it again, I think last year or two. He faced the same problem. The same pushback is going to get now.
Thank you, Titilope. I need to answer the calls.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, I need to commend you for bringing this to the fore.
Okay.
Well, I think I have a slightly diverse opinion concerning this. Of course, everybody knows that IBD, as is the creator of, whatever perceived feelings we are now. Because, if the right thing had been done that time, maybe the dynamics of Nigerian politics, economic, and what have you could have been different from what we are having right now. But I haven't said that. Some of us, I really just want us to, learn certain things about the rights and even the snares of leadership. We, of course, they say the earth that wears shoes don't wear inches or whatever. We have a lot of people. Haven't annulled. So let me ask you, haven't another election, another successive leader came in, got it up onto Abaka Salamin, right? Okay, now if the question I'm asking that, who actually gave Abiola the tea? Who actually gave Abiola the tea? Because somebody actually prepared, the foundation, but another person did the roof. So if Abiola, fine, Babangida has another election, and everybody, me and you know, I was an adult at that time. We knew that at that point that having giving Abacha out of the equation, Abiola was the next, and it was glaring to everybody that Abubakar will not have any choice other than to revert back to June 12, 1993 mandate.
I need you to wrap up. The lines are going.
And now, Abiola was given tea. We all know. Bless the memory of Koviana. Everybody they know. And even those who that went there yesterday, they said they are applauding him. Who knows? It's not that the same glory they were doing. So the question is that who gave him the? If Abiola did not die, wouldn't have taken his mandate back. Would the apology now will have been any meaningful?
I need you to. Okay, bye. Thank you, because the lines are very much. Thank you. Oh, emotions are high, but why? Literally, Hello. Only a minute, everybody. I want to fit in as many calls as possible. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Sister.
Good afternoon, sir. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Mr. Koto from Ikorodu.
Go ahead, sir. 1 minute. One.
The only question I want to ask Babangida is if Abacha is alive today, can he make that statement?
Exactly. Good one.
He's a coward. He has destroyed Nigeria. Posterity will judge him and his family.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
You too, sir. Say short, sharp, and succinct. Make your own comment exactly like that. Hello.
Hello, Auntie Ireti.
Oh, no. Sorry.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Who am I speaking to, please?
Yeah, my name is Mrs. Ibaze from Mowi.
Okay, Mrs. Ubaze, you can call me Sisi or Sisi or Ireti. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You see, this is my smile. I'm not actually smiling. I'm weeping within me. She just brought back the memory of 1993. I feel for Mrs. Oboli. Mrs. Oboli is actually my sister-in-law. And I know all that we went through during that period. I'm sure she's listening now. But Bankida's story brought out the healing pain in every one of us. Why are our politicians, why are they all deceiving us? Why are they all liars? The Bankida, the Maradona of 1993, he come back and we find a way of bringing all of them together and pretending as if maybe they love us more than we love ourselves. Enough of all this pretense, for goodness sake. Enough of it. Enough of it. We are all bleeding. They brought us to where we are today in Nigeria. But it's only God that will judge. Just like the last two callers, the second to the last caller said that, okay, Babangida have done his bit. Who gave MKO Abiola tea to drink that day?
Thank you very much. Let's leave
it there. The rest of posterity to judge.
Indeed. Thank
you.
You. Thank you. Right, I have messages here. Gosh, so many messages. I don't think I can get through all. Good afternoon, Cecilia. On the book launch yesterday, IBB has the impetus to tell the entire world that MKO Abiola won June 12 election. We are not a serious country. Note, the damage has already been done. Which way, Nigeria? That's from Prince Samuel Ofubuisi from Ajegunle. What else have I got here? Sisi, your caller claimed IBB introduced secret cult into the Nigerian university. You should have asked him if he was one of those that IBB used to spearhead the secret cult. Precise, it was Wale. Oh, you mean to be precise? To be precise, it was Wale Shoyinka. That's Peter from Ijesha. Thank you, Peter. Okay, what have I got here? Good afternoon. The Osho Abiola in 1993 called me. What do you mean Osho? I don't know what that means, but caused me heartbreak as one guy came from Lagos with his Efizi, snatched my babe in a lighter mood. Thank you so much. That's Pius from Agor Palace. Yes, he lost his babe. Everybody's got memories. What have I got here? Good afternoon, Cecil. It's so funny that people commented on historical emotions all along instead of learning the baits and snares of leadership positions. You all blamed IBB but forgot that those that orchestrated the annulment were all alive. Who gave MKO the tea? Were they not in gathering? If he didn't die in that cell, who says he won't still claim his mandate back? That's Bayo from Ikeja. Thank you, Bayo, for your comment. Good afternoon, Cecile Gay, my lovely sister Gay. I was pained to hear him say that MKO won the elections. So heartless. And he stayed all these years eating and sleeping peacefully knowing this. We can only forgive him because God asked us to. I asked that MKO name be included as one of the Nigeria's past presidents. That's Benita Enije. Did God ask us to forgive IBB? I don't know about that. I didn't get that message from God. Perhaps you did. What have I got? Right. Down for conversation, Cecile Game. Most of the actors of June 12 were there yesterday to laugh to my most disbelief. No consequences for wrongdoing. I was confused. Do you know how many died going for Yam Festival across the Niger? I knew a young guy from my secondary school that was shot in Mushi. We move, Ayo. Indeed, Ayo, we move. I'm coming. Please make it short, sharp, and succinct. I'm coming to your calls. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Turn your radio off, please.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Turn your radio off, please.
My own opinion.
Yeah, very quick for 1 minute.
Yes, my own opinion.
Please
about
move away
this.
from that baby. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Crying baby.
Am I okay?
Yes, go ahead now.
My opinion about the book launch. Well, IBB has done its best.
Mm-hmm.
We are here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I cannot actually give any percent or any mark for what he has done. Nigeria has not. So the only problem is that we are now rectifying the damage control now. Like, because Tinubu is there now, they struggle for Abiola and all that. You know, so I believe that as time goes on, more repairs will be done. The whole problem about Babangida was about Yoruba race, and it's very unfortunate. But they have seen the light now. We are together. We are in this destiny together.
Thank you.
Nobody can run for any other person.
Thank you very much. Right, I'm going to pick the last call so I can wrap up very quickly and make it short, sharp, and succinct. Hello.
Hello, Chicago.
Yes.
Good afternoon, it's Koboko.
Good afternoon, Koboko. How are you, Wanyoma? Thank you. Go ahead.
I'm fine, ma. It was on the 23rd of June, 1993, that I was killing cassava. When I run also Abiola riot, Babangida annulled election. I was claiming that he was not consulted. Babangida said about the 26th of August, 1993, say, go and do election. You collect power. Why is it not telling us what we know? The difference between you and me and Nigerians and the leaders are because they have opportunity. Not because they go to school personally. They cannot be telling me what I know. It is because of some money. When you give Babangida give Abiola give you a wife. A wife give you color. Because of that, you come first. Babangida come first.
I need you to hurry up, please, to wrap up.
Okay, what I want to tell you, hurry up now is that test is that they make you not change your program. Any case you want to bring, you make better pass. He can invite me to come and talk. He can invite better
Sorry, who are you talking about? But Koboko, you went to another place. Right. I've got a message here that I'm going to read out and then I'm going to wrap up. The kind of money they mentioned at that event yesterday is giving me a headache. Little wonder the international community has stopped funding the so-called Poor Africans. USAID has closed down. No more free drugs for tuberculosis, malaria, and HIV. We anticipate more cases of infant mortality. The UN is shivering from Trump sneezing. Job loss is imminent. You know what? Let me say something. This is what I'm going to say. I personally, Ireti Bakare-Yusuf, and I forgive very, very easily. I don't think actually IBB has the right to ask for our forgiveness. But I'm also, like I said to Cheta, I have grown up enough in my own spirituality to be able to know that I can forgive you without actually sharing that with you. Because when I share with you that I've forgiven you, is actually to relieve you of the pain that you are feeling, the guilt that you should be feeling, of your conscience, of the weight that's actually, the burden that's weighing you down. Now, my issues yesterday are several-fold. But when I read that first message, which Cheta didn't necessarily agree with, and I agreed with it, is when he said, even is it the angel of death denies you. I believe that. Now, that's not because you people know me now. I'm not religious or anything. But there's a time when some people get to a place where they're asking for death and death doesn't come. I think that's what he meant. Is that you probably wish you're doing all of this in order to clean up your legacy, but hang on a minute, you're not going to get away so easily. What I really, really, really take umbrage with is that project that I call the vanity project. The egregiousness, the arrogance, the sheer wickedness and selfishness of each and every person that opened their mouth, and they are not leaders. I'm sorry. You own your company, fine. You're an oligarch, fine. He gave you, Babangida was the one that created private sector, and now you're whatever. What I am going to say to you is 16 point something billion, so let's round it up to 17 billion. 17 billion right now for a library in Mina, in a region that has 30% plus, 30 odd percent literacy, in a region with the highest number of hungry people. If your head is not correct, at some point you should be able to read the room and think to yourself, hang on now, come now. You should be. But Cheta said something, and that's where I'm going to get off the bus. Cheta said what is clear is that the position of the elites and the position of the ordinary Nigerians are far apart. And that is true. We are far apart. You see, it's okay for them to forgive Babangida. It's okay for them to be applauding. It's okay for them to stand on stage. All of that stuff and say wonderful thing about him. It's okay for them to share that mic and be singing his praises. But we, the people that matter, like you all have said, it's not our job to forgive him. He can seek his forgiveness from God. It's for God to forgive him. That's not my job. My name is not Miriam. My name is not your wife. I'm not a member of your family. My name is not Jesus. So forgiving you is not, relieving you of that burden is not mine to give. Babangida came out yesterday in a wheelchair. I repeat, Babangida came out yesterday. IBB, the almighty IBB. They call him Maradona. He came out yesterday in a wheelchair. If that doesn't actually clock with the rest of his cohorts, those who were there yesterday, the current leaders, of how life can change, then I don't know what will. But we're Nigerians and we move, and I'll be back with Borderlines at 4 o'clock. We're talking the changing hegemony of the world politics, global leadership. We're also talking Ukraine and Russia. Yes, Okpayemi or Titi Lokpe and the rest of you that's been asking. Join us at 4 o'clock for Borderlines. My name is Ireti Bakare-Yusuf. I have been having this Danfo as I always do every single. Zena, why are you looking like that? You don't want us to get off the Danfo. I've been driving this Danfo every single Friday, and I will continue to drive it for you. Jiggy jaga jiggy, the only Danfo that matters in all of this Lagos. Is that not so, Zainab? That's right. That's right. We go to places other Danfos cannot get to. Take care. I'll speak to you at 4. I'm going to get some lunch. Bye-bye.
Let us dive into the heart of global affairs.
We go beyond the headlines and into the real stories shaping our
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info.